Hello, hello, hello. Pinning a wonderful comment. How are you doing? We have Danielle Bradbery joining us today for a country happy hour chat. My newest series, Peloton's first country signature series, started just last week, and I'm so excited to incorporate her wonderful music this week. If you're unfamiliar with the wonderful Danielle, in 2013, she was the youngest to win The Voice, training under Blake Shelton. She has some amazing music to chat. Hello, hello. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. I was just jamming out to your tunes right before this. I just made my playlist for the Country Happy Hour ride this week. And of course, you are the fabulous female highlight. So thank you for being your wonderful self.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And where are you right now?
I'm currently in Nashville.
Oh, phenomenal. I didn't know if you maybe made it back to Texas for a little while.
Not yet. I'm starting to plan that, so hopefully I'll get there soon.
Yeah. And I love that I didn't realize that we had the same heritage, both having a Mexican background. Um, and especially at Peloton right now, we're celebrating Latin Heritage Month. So
Yes.
it was wonderful to have you on.
Yeah.
But speaking of your wonderful Texas background, you grew up in Cyprus, right?
Yes.
And how do you feel? I mean, there must be so many magical sounds coming out of the music world in Texas because there are so many artists coming out of Texas right now. How do you feel like that influenced your sound?
I think it influenced my sound a lot, actually. And yeah, just being from Texas, and I'm from so Cyprus is like 25 to 30 minutes away from Houston, downtown Houston. And Houston, there's a lot of like Beyonce came out of there, and a lot of just, I mean, powerhouses, and just, yeah, a lot of people have come out of Houston and just Texas in general, like you said, and it's influenced by a lot of music as well. And, growing up, I've been around all different types of music. And so, just growing up there and my family being there and still there, they have played everything from, pop, R&B, Latina music,
Mhm.
country, Western, like, I mean, across the whole board. So if, every genre I've jammed out to it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I have such an eclectic taste in music in general. So I'm often asked, like, what's my favorite sound? And there are
Yeah.
just so many great ones. And I think my favorite music, including yours, are the artists and songs and obviously the writers behind them that blend all of the sounds. I mean, not all in one, but like
Yeah.
multiple sounds make such magic happen.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And, growing up with such a broad, selection of music, it's like sometimes it's difficult to land on one thing, but the other side of it is super creative, and it's super cool to make music because I've been influenced by so much. And so I try to sprinkle in like a little bit here and there of everything. And, some of my singles, some people notice that there's a touch of R&B, like my last single, Never Have I Ever, is like a touch of R&B slash country. And I love doing that type of stuff. And, I hope people do too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and so in your newest single, Girls in My Hometown, it's such a beautiful ode to your roots. And
Yes.
what would you say is, I'm sure there are multiple, but first thing that comes to mind, the biggest inspiration in that song?
Yeah, so Girls in My Hometown was actually a song I wasn't a part of writing, which I also love to do and love to tell people that I love to do. I love listening to outside songs. It's just as creative to me as writing them. I was being on The Voice, you had to take these covers of other people's songs and make them their own, my own. And so listening to other people's songs that they have written, I'm like, well, this is super cool because maybe I didn't think of it, that way before, and then maybe I wouldn't be able to in a writing room myself. So listening to other people's songs, I'm like, okay, this kind of fills that void of stuff that maybe I hadn't or wouldn't write. So listening to Girls in My Hometown for the first time really touched base on, you know, my hometown and just how I grew up and, you know, how I got into this industry. Around 16, 17, I went on The Voice and did that whole thing. And so a line in the song, it says, when they think 17, do they think of me and wonder if I've made it? And that was like, that tied in the whole song for me. I'm like, yes, that reminds me of leaving my hometown and pursuing my dream. And so, yeah, and I think a lot of people, whether they leave, stay, whether they, you know, weren't a huge fan of their hometown and wanted to get out. I mean, everything. I feel like no matter what you think back on it, what are people doing now? And you know, my best friend got married from my hometown, and it's just, it's a crazy thing to think about sometimes. And that the song is just, it's touching base on my country, you know, more Western Texas roots. And I loved everything about it. It was a very humble song to me.
Oh, I love that. Well, and speaking of The Voice, so for those who don't know, if you've been living under a rock, in 2013,
Yeah.
Danielle was the youngest person to win The Voice, which is insane. And also like raw talent, because a lot of the people on The Voice like have some professional experience, they've been working forever, and like obviously because of age and whatever, like you didn't have any professional experience before The Voice, just which I think highlights how talented you are.
Well, thank
But
you.
right, like I mean, but how was it training under Blake Shelton? Like, do you think, how do you feel that training with him, under him, has influenced your songs and artistry?
Yeah, so yeah, being on The Voice at such a young age is one thing, and not having any experience before. And my mom was the one that signed me up without me knowing, and just this whole crazy story. And sometimes when I tell that story, sometimes I wish she was here to tell it because she's the best at it. But
I
it
love a proud mom moment.
oh yeah, definitely one of those moments. But you know, I was a super shy. It was a phase of being super, super shy because at a really young age, I like to be kind of the center of attention. I was super silly, and that's my personality. But through like the awkward years, of course, I kind of came into like a little shell, and singing was my only getaway, and I would do it in my room before I did homework. Probably not the best influence, but I just, it was my getaway. And my mom, that's all she heard every day. And so she was like, I want to do something about it. Sign me up for The Voice because she knew I wouldn't pull that plug. And at first, I was feeling every emotion, and you know, time passed, all these experiences, and got on The Voice and continued. And Blake Shelton was my coach, and working with somebody like that who's very goofy and outgoing and just, and is not one of the best, but is the best country music artist. You know, having somebody like me that's super fresh, it kind of was like the perfect balance. And he knew how shy I was and how like I didn't really know what was going on. He was like, his goal was to get me out of that shell, and it was, he's super awesome and was super helpful. And anybody that was on the show or is a contestant of his knows that feeling. And yeah, it's like almost not having all of that experience before kind of helped me with my nerves and kind of helped me stay living in the moment and just, you know, take me to wherever, and I'll do whatever I need to. I was just so like, I was just like a sponge. I was soaking in everything, and that kind of helped me kind of coast through the experience, which was amazing.
I love it because I've never met Blake Shelton, but I remember the moment that I became a fan. It's one of my favorite silly videos on the internet. I remember watching him eat sushi as an adult for the first
Oh
time.
my
And he was so silly and fun, and I was like, oh man, like I liked you before, but now I really like you. But and I'm so glad that you know your mentor was silly and fun because not everyone has that.
Yeah, yeah.
But what a wonderful way to transition. And so 7 years later, do you feel like the same person? I mean, we always evolve, right? We age, we change. But yeah, do you feel like drastically different?
Um, I do feel different. And sometimes I'm obviously like the same deep down, but 16 years old and then turning 17 right when I was done, you don't know who you are at that age. I mean, we're still like, I feel like every age we're learning something new, and I'm 24 now, and I'm still trying to grasp everything, I feel like, so
Every
yeah.
year I find something different about myself.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say, yeah, I've definitely grown up. I had to grow up a little bit faster than the normal 16, 17-year-old. And, I have learned so much in the whole shy thing. I grew confidence level like crazy, which I'm super thankful for. And I've just learned so much over the years and learned so much about what I want to say as an artist. I got into songwriting super late than the normal, which is okay. You can start
Yeah,
whenever you want.
so true.
And that helped me even more to know exactly what I want to say. And, going back to being so young, again, I didn't really know, like, I just loved to sing and I loved, country music was my core. But growing up in the world I grew up in and my family and just having so much to choose from, there's still so much stirring up in me. So over time and still to this day, I'm like, I have so much to play around with and like so much influence to play around with. So I feel like writing is getting even more fun. Just being an artist and growing up, I'm like, this is cool now.
100%. Oh, I love that evolution. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, every day something different happens. Some days are dull, and other days
Yeah.
the inspiration just comes to you. But I know you have another single that we touched on, "Never Have I Ever," which is such a beautiful blend of country, R&B, and pop, kind of like you said.
Hmm.
And it's a sound that's so uniquely you. What? How can you describe, I guess, the writing process of that wonderful song?
Yeah, so I co-wrote that here in Nashville with two incredible writers, Laura Veltz and David Hodges, who, if you look those names up, I mean, the roster that they have under them, it's like, wow, like it's a huge honor to be in a room with just talent. And that helps me learn just with the whole writing thing and creating myself. And so, that day kind of looked like us hanging out, just talking about our feelings and what's been going on with our life. And I had just gotten out of a not so great relationship and just taking a year of soaking in growing up, and just I'm still young, so I'm just learning so much. And we were talking about how uh, we just want to write a good song. Let's not think of this has to be a hit single, and let's just write a good song. And we were feeling that R&B, let's just write it and we can fix it at the end of the day. And it was more R&B driven. And the meaning of the song, I was like, let's just talk about how it would be meeting somebody, he or she, for anybody, that sweeps you off your feet. And I hope for that one day. And we were just kind of like fantasizing that and kind of manifesting my current relationship, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's been fun. And a lot of people think like, oh, so that you didn't write that about your current boyfriend. I'm like, no, but it just kind of worked out perfectly to say, yeah, it is about him. So
I
it was
love that.
it was a cool way of making the song and just kind of like bringing it with me into this new experience with this new guy. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the country happy hour ride that I've started every week, this is how these country happy hour chats started. And it's all about good friends, good music, and good friends, or sorry, good tunes, good sweat, and good friends on the leaderboard. And we have adapted doing a lot of cheers. And I'm not going to put you on the spot, but if you think of your favorite cheers later,
Okay.
message me and I will include it. But there was a cheers that I threw in last week that was one of my own, and it was cheers to the things that didn't work out the way I once wanted them to. And
Wow.
that's what I always think of with past relationships, like these things that I was so determined to make happen. I
Mhm.
knew that that was my path, that was my person, whatever it was, even career, you know, we bebop back and forth. And that's been one of my favorite moments. And whenever I'm in, you know, an in between spot, I remember that cheers.
Yeah, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. So how has your writing process changed during the pandemic?
Oh man, I will be honest. I won't sugarcoat it. It's been a roller coaster,
Uh-huh.
but and I feel like for all of us, we're trying to get in a kind of different groove of creativity and motivation. Especially for me, you know, a lot of the writes haven't been in person. It's kind of been things like this, and if we get lucky enough and are super careful, we'll get to write in person. But
Yeah.
I, you know, a goal of mine is to sit down and write a song by myself, and I haven't quite gotten there just yet. But you know, the meanings of songs and creativity wise, it's been super cool to see, you know, getting in the writing room or a session, you know, what we come up with. And we've turned a relationship song around for specifically this time, maybe about relationships and how kind of they're hanging on, or some of them kind of fell through during this time. And we're just kind of putting everything together and more relatable for this time, which has been super cool to do. Um,
Mhm.
and a lot of artists have been putting out songs about, you know, quarantine and being 6 feet apart, and it's just
Right.
cool to see like the different creativity level of a pandemic.
Uh-huh. Which yeah, oh, 100%. You know, I think it's very hard. I'm not a songwriter, so I can only speak to it so much. But even when I'm coming like up with new things for myself, whether it's a new business or whatever, I get to a point sometimes where the only words that are in the forefront of my brain are the ones I've already used. You know, like you kind of
Yeah.
hit that wall, and it's so nice to have another human to they say a word that maybe it's not even that word, but then your mind takes it to another place, and that's when the magic happens. So
Yeah,
I can
definitely a
understand.
ripple effect.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that from a non songwriting perspective.
Yeah, for
uh,
sure.
yeah, and also if you're watching and you have a favorite cheers, please include it in the comments because we would love to use it.
Yeah.
But speaking of, you know, pandemic and what we're all in, the music industry, specifically touring, has been wildly affected.
Yeah.
How have your professional plans maybe changed in this time?
It's changed a lot. We definitely have had to come up with ways to give fans a concert, or just face to face
Yeah.
interaction, because we don't have a show to have a meet and greet and see face to face with fans, and just kind of keep up that way. So we're like, I mean, everybody, it's just like the platforms we have, Instagram, now TikTok, and Facebook Live, and all these live things that we're having to come up with. That's been a super helpful thing for right now. And yeah, but the plans have definitely changed. There's been a lot of canceled shows and move shows around. And thankfully, I've gotten to do a few. I did one a few weekends ago. That was the last one of the year, sadly. But we'll get to do some here and there, and we're still trying to figure out the process of a show. I feel like everybody's trying to figure out what the rights and wrongs of it, and we're super careful. Everybody has to wear a mask. You know, the artists are kind of secluded to their own camp, and you know, we're
Yeah.
just trying to figure it out for the future. And I feel like we're gaining process, hopefully. I
Mhm.
mean, progress, hopefully, to get shows back on the books, so we can get back out there. But Yeah, it's been super weird. A lot has changed, but we're trying to figure out new ways to stay connected and give people music. And I've been so excited to be able to release music so people can have. So that's been an upside with everything. But shows, unfortunately, haven't been the greatest right now.
Yeah, social media is thriving and in
Yes,
person. And so do you have a TikTok account that everyone needs to follow?
I do. I've been trying to be better at it. A lot of people are a lot better at it than I am, but I'm getting the hang of it. Hopefully, I'll gain some momentum through there. But it's hard, I will say.
I saw a meme that perfectly described how I feel. It said, too old to learn TikTok, too young to retire. And I was like,
Exactly.
wow, I feel seen. This meme has been inside my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so, how do you think that the music industry, do you think that it will be permanently imprinted because of this? Or do you think that it will be, I don't want to say a bounce back, but do you think it will kind of just go right back?
Um, Honestly, I'm not sure because, being able to do very few short shows during this time, I've gotten to kind of see how it's going and what we're trying to figure out. Um, so I think it'll be a gradual kind of, going back into it. I don't think we're going to be able to jump right back into it, which is kind of unfortunate, but because that space you hold so many people, and we just want to be so extra careful to, um, have people not get in trouble, or the health side of it, obviously, because there are so many people gathered in one spot. So I feel like it's gonna take some time, unfortunately, but I feel like we're definitely in a spot where we're trying to you know, be quicker at learning on what to do so we can get back out there quicker. So I don't know. It's kind of like up in the air right now, but
So
um,
is my sanity. So I understand that.
yeah, yeah. So it's like I hope next year is 10 times better. I feel like we all hope that too. So yeah.
Hmm. Well, before I let you go, we have a rapid fire section, which are always my favorite. So, first thing that comes to mind, don't worry if it's not actually your favorite.
Okay.
What is your favorite dessert?
Ooh, tres leches.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Mm.
speaking my language.
Yeah.
In general, sweet or savory?
Ooh, savory, I think.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Nice. Let's see, mountains or city?
Mountains.
Oh, I love that. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Ooh, Rocky Road.
Oh, give me marshmallow and anything.
I know, right?
Favorite book you read, doesn't have to be recent.
Okay. I this is a long time ago, but The Outsiders were
Ooh,
a good book for me. Yeah.
love that. Let's see. Oh, my list is so long and my mind just went blank. Let's see. Well, indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Yep.
For
Give
sure.
me a forest at any time.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the favorite place that you have toured? Like, what's favorite
Ooh.
city?
Um, I've gotten to go to Europe, so that was pretty amazing. I don't know
Yes.
specifically, I can't remember, but like London and like all those places, it's
Uh-huh.
amazing.
And what about favorite place you visited doesn't need to be through work?
Ooh, um, I'm gonna go out there again, but Australia.
I have never been to Australia. I applaud you for getting on that long of a flight.
It was hard, but it was so worth it.
Yeah, I've been on a few 20 something hour flights and they are a wild thing to experience, but
Wow.
always worth it.
Yeah.
Well, so before I let you go, short term, long term, we're so excited to hear what we can expect from the phenomenal Danielle Bradbery.
Well, I am definitely working on new music. Like I said, I want to keep pushing it out for everybody. Um, my creativity level is just all over the place, which is kind of exciting. And through this quarantine, I feel like everything's a little bit of a surprise, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I've been working on some new music. We're definitely headed in the direction of a group of new songs for everybody. A lot of exciting things that I can't necessarily say right now, but
I love a
there's
good secret.
yeah, there's a lot to look forward to, and I just yeah, I hope everybody's hanging in there too. So I'm excited.
Yes. Well, we will keep an eye out not only on Instagram, but obviously we're all going to follow you on TikTok now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to have another country happy hour ride this Friday. And not only will we be playing Danielle's music, but she will be the phenomenal female highlight because it's the strong women around us that put the happy in happy hour. Before you go, let's do a quick screenshot. So on a 3, 2, 1, just cheers and smile. 3, 2, 1, cheers. Thank you so much again for joining. So great chatting with you. I hope you have the most wonderful week, year, and I'm so excited to see what comes next.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, love.
Bye.